Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Fast forward to Wednesday afternoon. We're getting a better sense of where USC might be going in the transfer portal over the next couple of weeks. Now, Monday afternoon, I was just putting on my own GM hat and kind of giving out some targets I'd like to see USC go out and get. Now we get a better sense of where they are going with some of these targets. A lot of targets to talk about. Excited to get into it. I want to first start with the Deuce Robinson news. Look, it sucks. I think we were all excited to see what Deuce Robinson was going to look like in 2025. I look at the wide receiver, and we're going to talk about a wide receiver that I'm fired up for in terms of USC going after. If you can keep Jacoby Lane, if you can keep Makai Lemon, if you can keep these young tight ends, Xavier Jordan, I expect to be a guy for USC in 2025. I really do think USC will be just fine at the wide receiver room. And I almost look at it saying, all right, well, there was a lot of resources that was going to Deuce. Now you can kind of maybe allocate to positions on this roster that we need to improve immediately heading into 2025. That's kind of my take on that. And again, this is not me saying USC is better off without Deuce Robinson. He was a very talented pass catcher that, kind of was going in the right direction, didn't necessarily break out. But I do think USC will just be fine with that one. The Quentin Joyner one, that stung a little bit more. All right, we got targets to talk about before we do, as always. To the USC fans, the amount of support y'all continue to show, whether we're talking the recruiting trail, the transfer portal, I say it all the time. I truly mean it. Y'all's support is the reason I can do this. So I can't thank you guys enough. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Much more importantly, let it fly in the comment section because I got a few particular takes on some of these names that maybe some USC fans don't agree on. And that's kind of the beauty of having this conversation. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's start with defensive lineman Keyshawn Silver, one of the more sought after defensive linemen in this year's transfer portal. Many of y'all know I'm a Michigan fan, and you look at Keyshawn Silver's top four: Miami, Florida, USC, and Michigan. I'm going to have the same take on Keyshawn Silver from a Michigan fan's perspective to a USC fan's perspective, and that is kind of skeptical. You look at Keyshawn Silver and look, USC's looking for these kind of bodies. And so if USC ends up landing the commitment of Keyshawn Silver, I think a lot of USC fans have a lot to be excited about, right? 6'4", 335, 7'1" wingspan. This guy has trades for days. My hesitation, I guess you'd say, with Keyshawn Silver is this is a guy that was a 5-star prospect coming out of high school, spent his first 2 years at UNC, spent his last 2 years at Kentucky, has only played 640 career snaps on the defensive line, has kind of started to play some solid football, but I wouldn't say is playing 5-star caliber football over his first 4 years. How much better does he get going into year 5? Now, an argument could be, hey, let Coach Henny get to work, and maybe you do see a 5-star version of Keyshawn Silver. Is the juice worth the squeeze with Keyshawn Silver? That's probably my question. How much is he asking for? How much resources do we have to put into Keyshawn Silver? And can we maybe find some other defensive linemen that maybe have a little bit more eligibility remaining, or maybe have produced a little bit more that we can go out and get? That's my question. And again, if Keyshawn Silver ends up committing to USC, you'll see me get up here and say, I'm excited to see what he can do with Coach Henny coaching him up. But at the end of the day, I do have some concerns in terms of, I guess what I'm saying is the production, the on the field performance. And it's not just the production. You kind of look at Kentucky the last couple of years and say, that doesn't look like a guy that might be commanding as much money as he might be asking for. That's kind of where I stand on Keyshawn Silver. You kind of trust USC staff to make sure you're kind of getting the right price on him. Next guy I want to talk about, guy that I really do like, DJ Harvey, has kind of emerged as one of the top targets for USC, obviously from Sierra Canyon. Started his career at Virginia Tech, transferred back to the West Coast at San Jose State. He grades out well at San Jose State. And quite frankly, these are the kind of guys that I like to USC go out and get. I mean, you look at the difference between DJ Harvey and Keyshawn Silver. DJ Harvey was a sought-after recruit in and of itself, but he was a guy that, went to Virginia Tech, not a 5-star next to his name, ends up transferring to San Jose State, plays a really, really good season in 2024. I mean, you look at some of these numbers. One, the number I've started to look at is, all right, how many snaps are they playing? Like, are they a guy that just the coaching staff doesn't want to take off the field? DJ Harvey, 817 snaps in 2024. Like, this kid just did not come off the field for San Jose State. 62 targets, only gave up 35 catches. That's a 55% completion percentage, 4 picks, 6 pass breakups. I look at DJ Harvey and say you got some young cornerbacks on this roster that you feel good about, but you're losing a lot of experience. DJ Harvey seems to be that guy that makes sense. Hey, put him into this USC cornerback room. You probably have a bona fide power four starter. This one makes a lot of sense to me. Another name that I really do like, Joseph Williams, true freshman, Tulsa wide receiver. This kid rips, man. He rocks. A 6'2", 200 pounds, true freshman year. He 588 yards. His average catch went for 19 and a half yards. He has phenomenal contested catch numbers. That you look for a replacement at Deuce Robinson. And one of the knocks on Deuce Robinson is he never really played to the size he was. Like, sometimes I just want to grab and say, you're 6'6", go up and make plays on the football a little bit better. Joseph Williams, as a true freshman, 588 yards, averaging 19 yards per catch. And these aren't coming yards after the catch. This is him working vertically down the field. The average depth of target for Joseph Williams was 17.2 yards down the field. Great at the catch point. Big-bodied, physical wide receiver, kind of that wide receiver you're looking to replace with Deuce Robinson hitting the transfer portal. He's got plenty of eligibility remaining. This one makes a ton of sense for me with USC and probably would come at half the cost of maybe what it was for Deuce Robinson staying on the roster. Next one I want to talk about. This one makes a lot of sense to me as well. Would love to see USC pursue this one. Wendell Moe, plug and play interior offensive lineman. It's not super flashy. Take a look at the numbers. At Arizona, 1,700 career snaps, 491 pass pro opportunities last year. Gave up 0 sacks, only 11 pressures. We got to replace guys like Jonah and Emmanuel Pregnon on the inside. Wendell Moe, plug and play. Lock away the key. Don't have to worry about him. This one makes a lot of sense to me. And there's a couple of guys like this that I'd like to see USC go out and get. You'll get a bunch of guys on the inside that have played a lot of football. I'm interested to see where they go at tackle, and we trying to get a little bit more information in terms of where they're going. Jalen Glover from Utah. Running back, obviously the running back position is now kind of a priority for USC in the portal. I didn't think it was 4 days ago. Quentin Joyner leaving. Now you got to go get an experienced running back. My take on Jalen Glover is I think USC can do better. I don't quite agree with the ranking that 24/7 Sports put on Jalen Glover. This is not me getting up here and saying Jalen Glover is a bad player, but I look at what you got from Woody Marks. I think this is a very attractive offense to come into if you're a running back. Like, you know you're going to get a lot of workload because there's not a ton of experience on this USC roster at running back. That's what these running backs want. We talked about a few of them on Monday. We'll see more running backs hit the portal as the days go on. This is a position that, to me, is relatively easy to address. There's a lot of running backs that are going to hit the portal that are good, that are just looking for more opportunity. Anthony Jones, Lincoln Riley, just kind of get in the lab a little bit and find your running back that you talk about hit. I mean, he smashed it with Woody Marks. Woody Marks, we knew was a solid running back at Mississippi State. He came in and was all Big Ten guy, one of the better running backs in the country. You're trying to replicate that with your next running back. I personally don't know if Jalen Glover's that guy. Last one, and this is more of an addition from me, Tacario Davis. Go get him. Right? Long Beach kid. 12 months ago, Tacario Davis could have gone to the NFL draft. Well, it wasn't eligible, but had he, let me rephrase that. 6 months ago, before the 2024 season, Tacario Davis was thought of as a first-round NFL draft pick in this year's NFL draft. He plays at Arizona. The numbers aren't bad, but decides not to go to the NFL draft, decides to come back for one more year. You take a look at 2023, he was incredible, right? 54 targets faced, only gave up 23 catches, a 42% completion percentage. Incredible numbers, 6'4". Like, Doug Bell and Dan Lynn are looking at him saying, we want Tacario Davis in this cornerback room. Then go to 2024, 50 targets, 27 receptions given up, 54% completion percentage. Both years, sub 10% missed tackle rate. So you're getting a cornerback that can do everything you want, press man, sit back in zone, long guy that can get his hands on footballs and doesn't miss tackles. Checking the boxes for me, and I'm sure for Dan Lynn and Doug Bellick, what you want at cornerback. This is a guy that I think is a no-brainer for USC to go jump on. You land DJ Harvey, Decario Davis, feeling damn good about what these defensive backs can do next year. And when you have two defensive backs like that, cornerbacks like that, you start getting creative with them safeties because you feel good with your cornerbacks sitting on islands. And we saw Dan Lynn want to bring pressure. When you bring pressure, your cornerbacks are going to be on islands. This is an important position in this USC defense, and I think this one would make a lot of sense for USC. That's all I got today. Again, we'll continue to update it. We got some visitors coming in this weekend that we'll talk about. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. Going to be a fun next couple of weeks. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.